So you were in New York for 15 years?
Yeah.
And then you went to Jersey. How long have you been in Jersey?
2015.
How long have you been selling insurance?
Insurance in general since 2000.
2000.
Yeah.
Okay.
I started with property and casualty in Allstate.
And you were in New York in 2000 selling insurance?
Yeah.
So you were there during 9/11.
Yeah, I was.
Wow.
Yeah.
You were selling insurance at Allstate
Yes.
during 9/11.
Yes.
That was crazy, I'm sure.
Yeah, I thought that it was, you know when sometimes they put things on TV and they make it sound it's a joke or a bad joke or something. That's what we thought in the office, because we did have a screen TV for the customers when they come and see us, so they don't get bored, I guess, waiting. We used to have coffee, cookies, and a screen TV. When he used to run the news all the time, CNN, and the first thing that comes out is the plane crash. Yeah, and we look at it, and I was like, oh, that has to be a joke, a bad joke. Yeah. And then when you start turning the channels and you start seeing that
every channel,
we were like, actually my mother-in-law still lives in New York City, walking distance from the Twin Towers.
Yeah. What part was your office in? What part of New York?
It was upstate New York, so I wasn't shocked by it, by the impact. But my mother-in-law was, because my mother-in-law is like a couple of minutes walking. Like you can walk from World Trade Center to my mother-in-law in 15 minutes. Yeah. Probably she's in the Lower East Side.
I went first time to New York City 2003 when it was still the site. The site was still.
Forget about it. I was gonna say
it's like giant holes, but we went back. 2019 it was the fourth time I went, and
you saw the museum.
It's beautiful.
Yeah,
now.
The museum is
and
beautiful.
They've built what's that white structure, and then they have the cascading waterfall holes.
Yep, it's beautiful.
It's really, really pretty now.
Yeah.
What they've done with it, and it took a long time to get it to that point.
But I was gonna say, not to sound creepy here, but the city smelled.
Yeah.
For a good 6 to 8 months. I mean, there was no way to get the smell out of it, and that was a constant reminder of what happened there. Yeah. And that's terrible. That's terrible that something like that had to happen. Yeah. Or horrendous.
Oh yeah.
But I was there. So then 9/11 happened. A lot of things changed. After 9/11, I believe, not only for the insurance industry, but for any industry, and not only New York. I think that also kind of went countrywide. And then I realized that Allstate needed you needed to have $250,000 to buy the franchise. Yeah. And I was like, oh, I'm never gonna get to the $250,000. Yeah. So State Farm offered me to open an agency, but then I had to be with them for 3 years. Yeah. And then kind of run by an agent. So I had to be like the assistant of the agent, if you want to call it. But then I found out that the book is not yours when you want to retire. So I was like, okay, that's not going to be my thing. I cannot do that. Mm-hmm. And then after that, I had a friend of mine. That was my first partnership. That he had an office in New York City. And that worked out for a good 2 years. Mm-hmm. And he was doing commercial insurance. So commercial auto, commercial workers comp, commercial anything. And I was doing the other side, the life insurance side and the employee benefits. Okay. And then we got together with brokers in Wall Street, and then we did some brokerage, referral that we had to pay money to the broker, obviously, otherwise they don't give you nothing. Yeah. And then after that, then I got pregnant. And then my husband said, we're not going to be in New York City, we moved to New Jersey. Yeah. And then when I got to New Jersey is like very, very, the area that I'm in is like very country. Like when you told me now about New Albany, something like that, Really? Like, I have 2 acres of land. And when I tell people that I'm in New Jersey, they say, where in New Jersey you get 2 acres of land, And it's because I'm very northwest of the state. Yeah. And you get a lot of peace and quiet, deers, bears, bunnies, whatever you need.
So it's pretty then?
It's pretty, very pretty.
New Jersey has like a stigma because of Jersey Shore and some of that stuff, but
it's named the Garden State for a reason. So we have a lot of vegetation there. It's just that it's very crowded, like New York City. It's crowded.
That's the same thing with the whole state of New York versus New York City, because upstate New York isn't that crazy. So no. And unfortunately, the upstate people in New York are dealing with the politics of New York City. Yes. And they're not at all accustomed to the New York City way. No.
So. And they're very different people too, they are very mellow.
Same thing in California. You get outside of Los Angeles, San Francisco, they're different people, but those two cities are so big.
Correct. Los Angeles is kind of same New York City, but with nice weather. That's all it is, you know.
Yep.
But then you get out of Los Angeles, and you'll be surprised. Am I still in California? I mean, where is this?
I love, people talk about California's crazy and all this stuff, but when I go there, it's a very pretty place.
It's nice.
You just got to stay away from
the weather,
the nasty parts of LA.
And the weather. I love 65 degrees all year round.
And San Diego is
expensive
beautiful.
too, San Diego.
It's a really pretty place.
It's pretty expensive.
It's very expensive. I love they have that ship, I think it's the Midway, right there on the harbor, and they have like a restaurant hanging off the ship, the Gaslamp Quarter, that whole place. But that was the first city I went to where every other car that would go down the Gaslamp Quarter was a Ferrari or a Lamborghini. Just
expensive. The same thing goes for San Francisco. Just renting an apartment in San Francisco is $2,500, and that's a studio. So San Francisco is brutal. But it's nice.
How's New York City on rent? It's pretty bad too. Huh?
Yeah, you want to hear something? My last apartment was in the Bronx.
Yeah.
And it was considered a nice area of the Bronx because it's called Country Club. Mm-hmm. So that just by the name, Yeah. And it was a one bedroom only because it had a closet in the bedroom. But technically it was a studio.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like 600 square feet, something like that. And I was paying $1,800 a month.
Wow.
I know.
Was that is that where you lived when you were working like first at Allstate or before that?
No. First at Allstate, I was in upstate New York in Orange County, and and that rent cost only $700, but that was back in 2000. Then after that, I moved to White Plains, that is Westchester County, where the rich people live. The Clintons live in Westchester County.
Yeah, I've heard of Westchester.
Beyonce.
Heard of White Plains.
White Plains is Scarsdale, Chappaqua. Chappaqua is where Clinton has his house, So all that area, very expensive. Taxes are $50,000 a year, it's just pricey. White Plains was $1,100, and then from there I moved to Yonkers. Yonkers was around the same amount, and then from there I moved to the Bronx.
The Bronx.
Yeah, but I like the Bronx. Every time that I go somewhere, I always ask the people to tell me to the hood. I just want to see the hood. I want to see the real people. Don't show me the tourist area. The tourist area is nice, but I feel like somebody's dressing up the tourist area for me to feel nice about it. But I really want to see the heart of the place, and I think the heart of the place is in the hood. Take me to the hood. I live in Brooklyn for a little bit too.
Dumbo.
Yeah, but Dumbo is expensive. No. I was farther in, so I always make a joke that if I live in Brooklyn, I can live anywhere. You know what I mean? Like that was brutal.
Yeah. But Brooklyn's kind of on the comeback now. It's
now because where do you think people from New York go? There's nowhere to go in New York City anymore. Manhattan, it's impossible. I mean, an apartment. I have one of my team members that he rents an apartment across the street from Central Park, and the regular rent there for a studio is $3,500.
Yeah.
And that's a studio.
Yeah.
Just because you can have the view of the Central Park. I mean, it's beautiful every time that you go home, but you have to make the money to pay the $3,500, And it's a studio, It's just only you and your kitchenette.
Supply and demand there.
$3,500.
Yeah, Brooklyn is, when in 2019 we did the fireworks under the Brooklyn Bridge on 4th of July.
Yeah, that's nice.
And that Dumbo area was actually really nice.
Yes. Well, you can go now next time. You can, sit down in the benches in the Lower East Side, right there next to the Staten Island Ferry, Just get pizza and then get nice chairs and a blanket, and then you sit down there, and then you wait for the fireworks. That's a good view,
We've taken that. Every time we go, we've never been to Statue of Liberty because it's such a line and all that stuff.
What do you mean? So who goes to New York City and doesn't go to the Statue of Liberty?
We've been 4 times, never went.
Oh, God.
We'll take the Staten Island
Somebody save this guy, please. Somebody save this guy.
We always will take the Staten Island ferry because it drives right past it.
No, you have to go to.
We're like, there it is. I don't have to wait in line.
No, Lady Liberty.
I hate lines. I would pay a lot of money. Tell them to sell me a ticket where I get to skip the line.
No. I'm gonna give you a trick that nobody knows, but people that live in New York City.
Okay.
You go Monday morning. Nobody there.
Really?
Nobody there.
Okay.
Because most tourists, they go on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, or Saturday or Sunday. That's when you get all the lines. The weekends, forget about it. But Monday morning, there is only few people that fly into the city on Sunday to Mondays. So normally Mondays, the attractions are very low, And most businesses are closed on Monday sometimes when they open Saturday and Sunday. So if you go Monday morning, then no lines, no waiting.
Perfect.
Just go in.
That's what I'm gonna have to do. See, I just need to. I've never been to New York with people.
You just needed a hookup. The hookup information.
I don't know. I didn't know anybody there last time I went. So
the hookah info.
I was going to Google, and it's not good.
Yeah, no. Lady Liberty, you have to go, and then you have to spend your time in the other island, Elite Island.
Ellis Island? Yeah.
When you see the signatures of people that came here. I mean, that's very, very impactful. At least for me, because then it gets to show you how these people could have landed somewhere else.
Yeah.
And they made a family here,
Yeah.
Like we were saying before, we are a melting pot of everybody. So just think about all those people that came here, and then they met somebody, they got married, and then now 5-6 generations later, they're still here thriving, know. And if it wouldn't be for those people, we wouldn't be the country that we are today. Impossible.
Right.
It's no way. No way.
I agree, and then we wouldn't have Tatiana coming from Peru, starting an insurance empire. And you're doing some real estate too, right?
Yeah, I got my license because many years ago, I worked for a company called Better Homes and Gardens Run Realty. They are very popular in Westchester County.
Okay.
And I was the insurance person. I had a subcontractor agreement with them, so everybody that was buying a house to them, I have to offer the insurance.
Okay.
So in order for me to work with them, I had to have that real estate license.
Ah.
So I got my real estate license as a consequence of me wanting to work with them.
For insurance.
For insurance.
Yeah.
But then after that, I believe, I have the license, why not keeping it? So then I realized that I don't think that many people that do insurance realize your passive became your anchor, right? Because sadly, you have to do something with that passive. Otherwise, Uncle Sam is going to come and get it.
Yeah.
So the money has to go somewhere. And where can it go? That you can spend it, and it comes back to you. Like we were talking before we go into cameras, it's real estate.
Yeah.
It's just the only way that you can put so much money without paying taxes, right? And then let it grow somewhere, and it doesn't pay taxes either.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
You don't pay taxes on it. The building is there until you decide to sell it. And if you decide to sell it and you put it in something else, still you don't pay taxes. I mean, it's legal. What is not to like?
So and they keep appreciating.
And it keeps appreciating.
Yeah.
But even if you sell the building, imagine that you buy a building for $100,000, that you don't find no buildings for $100,000. But if you buy a building for $100,000 and that becomes $1 million, right? You have a $900,000 increase. Technically, you have to pay that to the government when you sell that, if you put it in your bank account. Yeah. But if you take the whole $1 million and you buy something else, you don't pay no taxes on it.
Yeah. You just keep growing it.
You just keep growing it.
Yeah. And then one day, if you did sell it and pay taxes, maybe you've gotten it so big where it's like, okay.
But you're already out.
Yeah.
You can even refinance. You got your $100,000 out, right? If you refinance that $1 million building and then you have a new appreciation, you have $1 million appreciation now, you can get $400,000 out and get a new mortgage.
Yeah, you're right.
I'm telling you. I love it.
We like the real estate market.
Yeah.
We have a handful of residential rentals. We own this building. We're looking at building a new building, like I was telling you about earlier. And, we want to do more and more in that space because it does become a great place to put the insurance money. Because insurance, there's no tax havens. You can either spend it on advertising or you have to invest it into real estate.
Or that's it. It's just you spend your money. That's the money, or you spend it on advertising, or you spend it in learning experiences, like me coming here to the behind the agency. That's what I'm doing here, by the way.
That's right.
Spending it behind the agency, or in the other ticket that I just bought, right? The event that you guys are going to have in Philadelphia, right?
Look at that is I'd rather do that with my money than give the 35-40% of it to Uncle Sam.
I was gonna say, think about it. Like most people tell me, but why you invest so much money in events, or why you spend so much money on this and that? Is it because Uncle Sam is gonna get it?
Yeah.
So why I'm gonna give it to Uncle Sam when I can go down to zero? That's what I try to do every year. By the way, I try to go down to zero, the whole thing.
Yeah.
So then it just also keep me hungry. The fact that I try to go down to zero.
Yeah.
Because I have to make up the money. I was telling another one of my agents earlier that we had a call earlier before I came here, and I was like, you cannot think about you're going to live out of your passive. That's just kind of, at least for me, is the wrong mentality to just think about you're going to get there with the clients and you're going to get there with income and you're going to live off it. Because then if you already have all your expenses covered, then what keeps you hungry to try to look for more?
Right.
You follow me?
Yeah.
So I never touch my passive. My passive is there. That's nice. That's real estate money. You know what I mean? That's for me to buy something down the road or invest somewhere or whatever I have to do with it. But I have to be able to produce enough for me to live out of my production.
Yeah. Today's production.
Yeah, because otherwise it goes to Uncle Sam too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I try to raise my costs in such a way with my income that, then it becomes zero.
Yeah.
You know?
And people do that naturally. It's funny because people like look at, you know, maybe they like when I was starting to make more money, I'd have people be like, oh, if I could just get to 250,000, 300,000 a year. And I'm like, you say that, but you get there and things start to adjust. Sure. All of a sudden it's not what you thought it was. You have nicer things and you can do more.
Exactly.
But your expectation
is higher.
It's just like when you were talking about in Peru, people were living on $2 an hour. They're cooking chicken skin and stuff. They don't think that much about it probably because they're thinking this is what I'm used to this.
Yes.
But you take them and they're making 250,000 and living in the U.S. for a few years. Then you try to send them back cooking chicken skin. They're gonna be like, "What the hell is going on?"
Exactly.
So people acclimate to their income.
And you also, in a way, think that you deserve it, quote unquote, right? Yeah. And like you said, you start buying nicer things, you know. Yeah. But also, people have to think, I guess, and I call everybody to think about it. How much more nice is nice? Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like, do you really need a Lamborghini or do you really need a Ferrari? Yeah. If it's really wise to spend that amount of money. And even if you buy it because you feel that you deserve it because you work so hard, what is going to be next?
Yeah.
Just a more expensive vehicle, and then what you're gonna do with that? Yeah. You know, so it gets to a point that, I mean, for me it's the same. Have a Toyota, Volkswagen, or a Hyundai. You know what I mean? I don't need necessarily to have a Rolls Royce. That wouldn't that wouldn't mean too much to me. You know?
Right.
I want a nice car. Yeah, that's for sure. But I find it outrageous to pay $10,000 for a car.
I found that, you know, like my dad would buy $12,000 rugs, right? But then my wife would buy a $1,300 Louis Vuitton, and he'd think, that's crazy. Stupid. Yeah. Why would anybody do that? And she says, why the hell would anybody buy a $12,000 rug?
I know, yes.
You know, everybody has something that means that's worth it to them.
Yep.
And so whether, you know, some person it might be a car, another person is a watch, another person is earrings, another person is a house, you know, a rug, a purse, you know, and if you work hard and you want to reward yourself,
that's okay.
And I like the reward to zero.
Yeah.
Invest in reward to zero.
Yeah.
Because if you don't, you're just going to get taxed on it anyway.
That's my point.
And if it's sitting liquid, it's losing money anyway.
Yes,
and it's about to be losing more.
And who's going to pay you for your liquid anyhow?
Nobody.
Liquid doesn't make no money.
No.
You know, so
you got to put it somewhere.
Yeah, and I think that also going back to what we said about September 11, what September 11 taught me is that nothing is guaranteed. Yeah. You know, like you can have a beautiful life today and tomorrow it might not be that beautiful. Yeah. You know, so you have to live your day like it's your last day. That's what I always kind of go hard on everything. You know, people sometimes they say, why you are so, you know, like hyper or loud or whatever. Why not? You know, I mean, and whoever doesn't like it, they don't like it, and that's it. What you're going to do, you know? I mean, they're not my people.
You know, they say, this is a saying I tell my wife I don't like all the time. People say still waters run deep. You ever heard that?
No.
It says still waters run deep. It means,
like that doesn't move,
but it means being still, it means it's deep. And they use it as a reference to people that are quiet are very wise.
Not necessarily.
I told my wife, I'm like, sometimes they're just wise enough to know that when they open their mouth, they sound stupid. Yeah. So I talk a lot. You talk a lot. Yeah. Doesn't mean that we don't have something to say. Yeah. I talk because I got some value to add, and I want to add it.
And we have an opinion, you know what I mean? And I think that raising your opinion is important.
Yeah.
Because if we don't say what we think, then people can take it the wrong way also, and then think that you are being funny and you are not being, you know, like true and real.
Yeah.
And also I believe that we live in America, you know, like we were saying before, the land of opportunities, the land of there are so many mixes that we can have the luxury of accept your point of view and my point of view at the same table and not to argue about it. There's nothing to argue about. That's your opinion, that's my opinion, and all of them work, right? Because whatever you do works for you. Right. And whatever I do works for me, and that's okay. We don't need to create a war about it. You know,
right.
There's no need.
That's right.
You know.
So, what's next for Tatiana?
Well, thanks again to all the training that I've been doing, because I spend a lot of money in events and training. But I love it. I would never want it any other way. Yeah. I just bought a ticket, right, without even thinking about it. He's a testament that I can buy without even thinking about it. Say I will be there, right?
Low buying threshold. People make the best salespeople. Did you know that?
No.
Like it doesn't take a lot for me to buy it.
No, it doesn't.
Somebody's like, you know, you should buy this. I'm like, you think I should buy it? Okay, let's buy it. And
when you see the value too, right? I think that we are quick to find the value. If I find the value in it,
and then I can explain the value to somebody else. So then you become a good salesperson. You're not afraid to offer something because you see the value.
And what did I ask you when I wanted to buy the ticket? You said it's very exclusive, right?
You said how exclusive?
Yeah. See, ding, 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 ding.
That's right.
Yeah, for me it was like, okay, good, you know, because I like to be in those groups. I like to be in those groups that we are not that many. Not that I don't like Medicare Con or 8% or anything. They have obviously value, and I love going there. But there is a beauty about just being only 15 people, 20 people, like we're going to be probably today, but tomorrow, right?
Yeah.
I think that there are like 25 people or something like that.
You're 16.
Well, there you go, see?
So I try to keep them at 15. Now, if we build this new building, I'm going to build a slightly bigger place for
more
it,
people.
And I'll probably do 25 to 30.
See, I'm glad that I'm coming early now because
it's more exclusive.
Exclusive. I pay for exclusivity. I pay to play. I don't mind, So thanks God to all the events that I've been going. I used to be a solo person. So I used to do only business, me, the only salesperson. And I realized I cannot get to the 5 million mark, by myself, unless I want to kill myself working 80 hours a week or something like that. And I don't want to do that. So
do you target the Hispanics market, the Spanish-speaking market?
Yes, I
heavily?
do. Yes.
And you brought an agent with you, or you met up with him at 8%.
Yes.
And you're working with him too?
Yes, yes.
So he was really sharp and had a good energy.
I love him. Yeah. I love him because, Ryan, his name is Ryan. Ryan, if you're listening, I love you, you know that. Ryan, I show him the option and he jumped on it, and I noticed that I attract those people, like, I understand that I'm not for everybody, and that's okay, like I said before. So the people normally that join my team and do business with me is people that they jump on it, they don't think too much, and they know what they want from the beginning, because it's or you want it or not. It's like me asking you, do you want to eat ice cream? Mm-hmm. Yes or no? Yes. I mean, there is no, I might feel like eating ice cream later. No, you don't feel like eating ice cream right now. Yeah. So there is not too much to think about it. Yes or no? Right. And it comes from trying to be practical and proactive. So now I realize I need a team. So we are growing the team, and that's awesome. I started getting applications in May, and I can tell you that I already lost count how many applications I get a day.
Wow.
That's how powerful it is. I kind of send documentation for contracting a day, 5 or 6 people. Yeah. Without problem. I had to hire an assistant just to help me with the contracting part because I couldn't do it myself anymore. And sell at the same time and meeting with them to Zoom. I try to do a Friday meeting with them all the time, to answer questions and guide them through the process. Because what I noticed is that most people don't have guidance. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like they don't know what to do next. And everybody has different thing that they want to do with their business. You know what I mean? This is not a one size fits all. Thanks God, so you can be doing insurance in one way and it works, and he might be doing it in a different way and it works. Yeah. And we all can make money in the same industry with different ideas, you know, which is great. So I think that that's my strongest part and team building, that I don't try to fit a circle in a cube. It's just not possible. If the circle is a circle, the cube is a cube. So if somebody tells me, Tatiana, I want to do just life insurance, okay, do. But I'm going to show you what you're missing out. So my job is to show you as a guidance, but I will never force you to do something you don't want. It's just, for me, it's ridiculous. Just because you are going to make money, they have to be a way.
You want them to be easy to be led too. The best agents that I've found are people that are easy for me to lead. And if they won't let me lead, a little bit, then I might not be able to work with them.
But they have to be hungry enough. I notice that people that are easy to lead is people that want it.
Yeah. You have to have smart, hungry, humble.
If you are not hungry for it,
you got to have it.
It's just there is no way that this thing is going to work for you. You know what I mean? Insurance is not for the person that is going to sit down watching TV and call it a day. Yeah. And they see.
Some people are hungry to be rich, but they're not hungry to put the effort in of what it takes to get to that point.
What I found, that people that they tell me I want to make $1 million or $500,000 or whatever it is, and they're hungry to be rich, but there is normally something that they're looking for. Okay, you want to be rich, but why? Yeah. It's not to have the $1 million. If you have the $1 million in the bank account, it's not going to do anything for you, right? So what you're going to do with that $1 million when you get it? Because it's not going to sit in the bank.
Yeah.
So they normally, the truth comes out, the real color. Oh, I want to buy a house for my mom. My mom is working 3 jobs since I was a child. Or my wife has cancer, she needs, therapy and we cannot afford it. The insurance already is ready to expire. Or my daughter is going to have a wedding and I don't have money to pay for the wedding. She's getting married in 2 years. So normally it's something.
Yeah.
So I try to take that emotion to make it the fire. Because we all have desires, right? And it's just that happiness. We all want to be happy.
Yeah.
But happiness is not necessarily linked to the money. You think that it is, but in reality it's not. Reality is that you really are pursuing something that maybe you are too personal to share, or maybe you are ashamed of it, or whatever the case may be. But that can be the fire. So most people are not cold. It's just that they haven't found really what they want, or they are, kind of cold because of situations or circumstances.
Yeah.
And they just want to make money to get out of the hole and then kind of support themselves because they don't even have money to eat. I have one that doesn't have no even money to eat. So if that person doesn't have money to eat, then obviously they're going to think about, I need to make $100 a day at least to buy groceries so I can eat.
Yeah.
But besides that eating, there is something else. It's something, you just have to dig deeper. So in a way, call me a psychologist if you want to, but it just happens, because you want to be invested in your people. I want to be their friends, I want to know what they want, what moves them, what drives them. We all have drives. I have never met a person that tells me it's okay if not, if I get there or I don't get there. Yeah. Normally they have a reason why they want to get there.
Well, I have a reason why, and you have a reason why.
Yes.
And I am glad that you came today.
Thank you.
And I'm glad you're going to be here the rest of the week.
Yes, I came early.
We're gonna learn, and we're gonna have a lot of fun. And I'm glad that you get to be on Gurunomics.
Thank you.
And we're going to have this out very soon for everybody to digest. If anybody wants to reach out to you, Tatiana, how would they do that?
Email, phone, WhatsApp. I'm reachable. Instagram. So in Instagram, I'm Tatiana Medicare, Tatiana Medicare Tatiana. I'm in LinkedIn also, Tatiana Torres. I'm in Facebook, Tatiana Torres. You can find me also 914-315-9019. That's my cell phone. You can find me in WhatsApp. I'm reachable.
There you go.
Or you can look for Justin, and I'm his friend too.
That's right. I can point you in the right direction. And she's responsive. So if you want something, she's responsive, and she's happy to help. So
and sometimes I'm too much responsive, right? I can harass Justin. Let me tell you, I can harass him.
Hey, I've been accused of being sending a lot of individual small group text or group messages. Tatiana's got me beat on it.
Thank you. But Justin is very good. You actually text me back sometimes on a Sunday, right? Most people don't.
That's when I'm catching up.
I see.
That's when I'm.
No, but I appreciate it. I just want you to know that I appreciate it.
I'm probably worse at being responsive during the week than I am on the weekend. So
I think so, and I normally text on the weekend because that's when I have time.
During the week, I'm getting so many messages. Like the weekend is like everybody's relaxing, and I'm catching up.
I saw it. We were just talking for like 5 minutes with Rob, right? And Pete Fournier, I think that he sent you like 5 texts. I was like, damn. He was like, okay.
Yeah, I put them away and then I go back and I digest.
I was gonna say, when you're gonna look at that text for it tonight, right? Yeah. When you finish everything, you're gonna look at it.
People say, that productivity is a big topic. I'd say the best way to get productive is to get so overwhelmed that you have no way out but to figure out how to get it all done.
Well,
because then you'll start to figure things out,
And that's what I have a schedule. We were talking earlier about why Wednesday is a good day for me, because normally Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, I have appointments, and I run my appointments on an hour, 9, 10, 11, 12, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Yeah.
So in a way, it's like not allowing me to fail.
Yeah.
Because think about it, if you have 9, 10, 11, 12, 2, 3, 4, 5, that's 8 appointments a day. Yeah. That's 24 appointments a week. I have to be very bad at selling if I only sell 2 policies in the whole week.
Oh, yeah.
So then my goal is to at least close on 50% of that. So if I close on 10 and 12, multiply that by 4, we're talking about 40 apps or something a week.
Yeah.
And, sometimes you get a couple, and sometimes I pass that. So
are you setting your appointments, or you have an appointment setter?
No, I have an appointment setter. Impossible for me to do all that. I mean, I try.
Is it someone that works for you, or is it like Filipino telemarketer? Or?
No, I have a hookup in Venezuela.
Hookup. There you go. That's the secret.
I have a hookup in Venezuela.
That's going to get you the direct message.
Oh, there you go. Yes.
They're going to want that hookup.
I'm sorry, Filipinos. Nothing against Filipinos, but I think that there is a lot of competition in Philippines.
Yeah.
Nothing against Philippines. Okay.
Well, the turnover is a little bit.
Well,
higher.
it's because think about it, and I hire people from Philippines. Okay, they go to the highest bidder. So if they find somebody that is willing to pay $12 an hour, that is still cheaper than the U.S.
Yeah.
You know, then they will drop you like a hot potato. I mean,
yeah.
I have people that have told me on the middle of appointment setting that I'm sorry, I cannot keep working for you, Tatiana, anymore because somebody from a real estate company called me and they want to give me $15 an hour. I was like, but what? Yeah. I was paying you $5 an hour. Bye, see ya. You know what I mean? Venezuela is a different story because that market is not there developed, you know. So you will find, and I don't know if you know this, but Venezuela used to have a lot of American companies there. GM was there, Nabisco was there, Procter and Gamble was there. So many of the people that they work in Venezuela at one point, they have to be bilingual to work in those companies. And then everybody's educated. They have master's degrees sometimes. They have, full bachelors.
Yeah.
Nothing against the Filipinos again, but I don't find, I notice that they have an expectation of making X amount of money. Mm-hmm. Now, Venezuela is a socialist communist country right now, so then they don't even have money or, from the companies. They I think they live on $200 a month or something like that. You know what I mean? So if you offer to pay them, $300 a month, $350, then they jump on it. You know what I mean? Like, it's a no-brainer for them. So I have 11 VAs now.
I might have to get a little hookup from you on that one.
Yeah, there you go. I can make it work. You just let me know.
That's some good points. Venezuela, man. So,
Venezuela.
Well, thank you, Tatiana.
Thank you, Mr.
It's so much fun.
Finally, we did it.
We did it.
Yes, we did it. I'm so excited. It's a dream come true to come here to the Gurunomics.
You know that?
Yes, it's a dream come true. Thank you, Justin, for having me.
Thank you very much. Well, that's a wrap, guys.
Woohoo!
Did you subscribe to the YouTube channel? Did you like the video? Please turn your notifications on and head over here to our next video. And if you haven't joined our Facebook group, check out Medicare Gurus. It's over 7,000 members strong currently, and there's tons and tons of wealth of information and knowledge from experienced agents as well as new agents that you can find and help shepherd. So thank you guys so much for watching. Check this video out right here.